I was just thinking. There was a movement back in the, I don't know if it was the '60s or the early '70s, about abolishing the 16th Amendment, getting rid of taxes. Well, basically, I think there was like sales tax was all they wanted, so that way people wouldn't continue to buy or pay for stuff that they've already bought. Like you buy a house, you pay for the house, you don't pay tax on it. So whatever you buy, and that spurs the economy. When the economy spurs, well, then that's where the taxes will come from. And basically, if you get rid of the 16th Amendment, it'll go back to how it used to be, where instead of being a rich country, and there's another thought I had is, we're a rich country, and whoever thought up the slogan of superpower, now I don't know where it came from, what year that started, but when the U.S. got a swelled head over being called a superpower, maybe it might have been after World War, I wonder if it was after World War one or two. Was it the nukes that called us? I don't know. Anyway, but whoever thought that up was either a communist genius, because they knew that if they called somebody a superpower, then the collective government is going to go out and say, yeah, we're the greatest, we're the best. And then they're going to turn into, then their heads are going to get swelled up and think it's them. And they're going to leave behind their constitution, which is what the communists want. And they're going to start taxing people more heavily, going into the Constitution, changing it, and saying, "Yeah, we're the superpower." The forefathers never thought of being a superpower, and but we did. The forefathers never thought about being a superpower, but they thought the greatest at the time. At the time, now I'm not saying that greatest army, or maybe I don't know if they were the greatest army, but they're the greatest navy. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they were a dominant force, Britain anyway back then. Not a big historian, but whoever came up with the slogan and got the U.S. policymakers to believe it, that the U.S. was a superpower, led to the 16th Amendment, led to attacking the Bill of Rights and trying to change everything. Now, I'm not saying that change for the good is not a problem, but if you take somebody who's what is this, fiscal with their money, is that what it's called, where they're real tight? I mean, they're not tight, but they're not frivolous like a rich person. Well, not even a rich person is frivolous, but somebody who's got it quick and fast would be frivolous. Somebody who's had to work for it and know that when you spend it, it's hard to get back, and it's hard to keep a base. Where frivolous people, it flows to them. For them, it's just frivolous spending, unless they started out young and they worked their way up. But then it'd be frivolous spending because became billionaires. They're going to spend money. But anyway, and that's what this government's turned into. They used to be a fiscal government. I don't think that's the right word. Anyway, where they wouldn't just, back in the 1800s or whatever, they weren't just throwing money. I don't think they was just throwing money around. They'd think it through and make sure it was gonna work. Nowadays, they get an idea. That's why these agendas are attacking politicians. They're just like, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to call you this, and and they're using the freaking Bill of Rights. They're holding it up, saying we're going to use this against you if you don't go against this. If you don't go against this Bill of Rights, we're going to use the Bill of Rights against you. But if you don't follow our agenda, we're going to use the Bill of Rights, so that we can disable the Bill of Rights. I don't, doesn't make sense. It's communists. They don't even know they're being communists. Their head was. It's like all these homosexuals. They were attacked by homosexual. As embryos and stuff. All the thought of these homos thinking, well, all we got to do is get in the minds of unborn children or children, and make them. We'll have a pattern of thought that they'll all think the same way, and they'll all be thinking they're homosexuals, and then we'll have a big thing, and then we'll get rights, and they're probably thinking, they're, I don't know if there's a bunch of, well, they're pretty rich, but I don't know if they got to establish a group like whatever, I don't think they have what dues that they pay, but anyway, yeah, whoever came up with the slogan of was genius, and it had to have been communist, because they knew that well, they're going to build they probably thought, well, first thing they're going to do is they're going to start taxing the people, and then start destroying their, they want to put their name on everything, because they're going to think they're better than that, and then they're going to destroy the country, and and that's what they was after. And that was what pre-communism probably. Anyway, but I was thinking, if you get rid of the 16th Amendment, those people making $10 an hour, you take 30% out of $10 an hour, that's quite a sum of money. But if you allow them to have that actually puts a cushion on them, if you know what I mean. And maybe that's what this country needs, to get rid of it, because I think it's the 16th Amendment. It was it wasn't part of the founding fathers' plan, is to go out and tax. That's totally against. That's the whole revolution was fought over getting rid of taxes. There's too many taxes, and now they're going right back to it because of this. I would not say it's maybe not even communism, but socialism. It's or monarch. The king's thinking around, how can we economically destroy another kingdom? We can go over there and compliment them on stuff and get them all big-headed, and knowing what it'll do if they say the right stuff, and the king is he's easily persuaded or something like that. A new king, and they go over there and persuade him, oh yeah, I'm an old king, and wow, you really do, you tell him you're amazed at whatever, and it's going to swell the head of that king, and he's going to start, oh yeah, you know what, I'm a great king, and then I deserve more of what instead of being fickle, maybe that's not fiscal, fickle with your money. And so that's what we need to go back to. We need to get rid of this abundance, and go back to being fickle, and thinking about what the people, instead of just being a frivolous spend on just, $6 trillion freaking budget. And and everything they do, they just jumble it with other stuff that has nothing to do with the budget. Like they want to redistribute wealth to the middle class. The middle class, they think that's going to win the middle class over. They think, well, yeah, if we say we're going to redistribute, and none of these politicians, they're all lies. They just want you, they grab your beliefs, they get you to believe them, they grab them, throw them in a box somewhere. I don't know what happens to them. It builds up in, you lose your belief, or you lose that feeling you had, and they got a box of feelings, a warehouse of feelings, probably a whole area of feelings, probably Area 51. But anyway, so they get all this, I don't even know, I guess this is where the video ends, because I think I've said all I've said, and it's like there's no more props in the box to pull out. So, yeah, I'm thinking the 16th Amendment would help those $10 an hour people. We got rid of that, and it'd make this country more fickle. and these politicians couldn't just be spender. It wouldn't attract, because I think that's what it's attracting. You got all those taxes, and they're raising more, and it's attracting people that are just frivolous spenders. They're just horrible business. They're not business at all. They're just like, yeah, we want to please everybody. Without them, it's like Kennedy said, it's not what your country can do for you, it's what you can do for your country. Now you can look at it a couple different ways. But this is post 16th Amendment, so it's still frivolous spending because, like Eisenhower said, you got to look out for the war, whatever industry or something like that, because they're just frivolous spenders. Hey, you got plenty of money, spend it on war equipment, and what happens? You go to war. That's all we've done ever since the 60s. It was a war amendment. Basically, the 16th Amendment is a war amendment. And that's where we've been. And it's just we cannot get out of war because, well, we got money. We can this country. And then these countries are like, well, we'll cause a commotion. And the U.S. will come here and we'll accept them. And until they destroy enough buildings that we'll have our army, our opposing army, running these areas we want rebuilt. And we'll have the U.S. go in there, bomb them, and then rebuild. And it won't cost us a thing. And it's a bit, they're outsmarting these frivolous, these balloon head politicians that are like up there, yeah, I'm a great politician, I'm a popular, look at me, how popular I am. Because I got all these votes for me. They're lying. They're lying about everything, If we go back to where we don't have, if you go back to where you have to be fickle with your money, then your decisions you make to spend that are usually solid decisions. They're not just frivolous. You're not just some mediocre person that just won the lottery, and have been, well, I give all my money away to my friends and or whatever, then I just go back to my job, and then after they do it, they realize how stupid they were. And these people never do it. If Trump got up there and read off this $6 billion budget proposal, they'd attack it and it'd never even get through Congress. They'd be laughing at it. So, anyway, have a safe Memorial Day. Safe Memorial Day. And do something right with it instead of just being a party weekend, a vacation weekend. Before you go on your vacation, maybe go visit some of your relatives' graves, Of course, it's sad, but it's also memory. And it'll give you a good feeling that you've remembered them, because maybe that's a problem in your life that you haven't remembered. And maybe that's a necessity. So, anyway.